So, a friend sent me a copy of this video to watch that talked about the skull experiment. Go check it out. And one thing that was mentioned in the skull experiment was that they would sit in utter darkness. They didn't use tarot cards, they didn't use tools, they didn't use any of that. And they were trying to contact the dead. And finally, they were able to contact the dead, and certain things happened. Now, I remember before, this was after I left the church and before I got into any of these spiritual practices, I would sleep in the dark and I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would hear voices whispering over me. I would see lights moving around in my room. Sometimes I would see three people, two males, one female. They would be dressed in clothes from the 40s, the 50s, and they would just be standing there and they would be talking to me. And they would be giving me messages. At that time, I wasn't writing nothing down. I was like, oh, I see things. I also remember when my mom's friend crossed over and how she came to me in the dark and sat in a chair and told me exactly what happened to her. And then when we went to her trailer, we found those things. Now, this was before any ATR, spirituality, crystal stones, meditation. This was before any of that because I was born with that veil, as they want to call it. So I would see things. Even as a little girl in church, they would come in the dark and I could hear them, I could see them, I could see kids, but I would see these lights. So when I started getting into the ATRs, the religions, and doing this and doing that, those things that were once coming to me before I did all of that, it kind of like stopped. It was if I cluttered my mind with other people telling me what I needed to do in order to tap in, what offerings I needed to give, all of these different things, and it stopped. It kind of, like when I tell you that it cluttered, and I wasn't seeing the orbs, I wasn't hearing the voices, I wasn't seeing the people the way that I used to see them before I did all of those things. It was as if some energy was removed from me, like something was taken, like the natural gift that I had, it was absorbed. It started being absorbed. So when I did all of that, and I've said this so many times before, I asked my ancestors, I said, what next? They said, go back to the beginning. And at that time, I was thinking go back to the beginning was going following hoodoo or going to the Bible or going to the church. But no, going back to the beginning, what they were telling me was get rid of the mind clutter. Get rid of the rules, get rid of the regulations, get rid of people telling me this is how you got to do this. Let it go. Get rid of the rituals that was guiding me. Let it go and go back to the beginning as if I did not know how to do anything. Back to the beginning when I was innocent. Back to the beginning where my gift was pure and my gift was natural and things just came to me without all of the mind clutter, without all of the interference. And so I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I was telling her the crossing of my grandson allowed me to go back to the beginning. When you have to sit with an emotion and you start questioning everything, and you say to yourself, I don't want to do this anymore because you don't understand how your grandson's life was taken at an early age, it it forced me to go back to the beginning. So now, as I go back to the beginning, the natural gifts that I had have intensified. Y'all don't understand. The natural gifts that I have intensified. And it's not that we lose our gifts. It's that we allow our consciousness and our mind to be cluttered with so much junk that what was given to us naturally now becomes something that is forced. Now everybody want to command you. People want to tell you what you need to do and how you need to do it and want to give you lessons. on this and on that. And anytime that happens, that takes away from nature, takes away from the natural gift. Like if you look at birds, how they fly, how they move, they are in sync with the seasons. They're not reading no books to tell them what to do. It is natural. When all of the snow was on the ground, the birds was killing my bird feeder, not killing my bird feeder, but they were knocking it down. Like I was putting bird seed in there every other day because they naturally knew to come to my bird feeder and get sustenance because they were unable to get it from the ground because the ground was covered in snow and ice. That is going back to nature. That is going back to the natural things. That is connecting. That is paying attention. But when your mind is cluttered with so many things, that is why sometimes false messages come. You might get some of it, but you may not get all of it. And when you do get some of it, the rest of it that you don't get, you're trying to force that message to come through. You're trying to force something that is against nature. So go back to your natural abilities. Spend time, study. That's why I watch, I look at the ground, the trees, how it goes, how it develops, the seed sprouts up. I watch all of that. That is natural. That is nature. That is nature. Someone once told me I would like to get rid of all the tools and things just happen. And I agreed with her. So I got rid of all the tools. And now I allow things to come back. And it comes back so strong. It comes back so strong. I don't need anyone to tell me you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to go here. You need to go there. I don't need to do that because my natural abilities, my senses have truly awakened. But it had to take something major to happen in my life for me to understand the meaning of go back to the beginning. So everything that I know now, I had to reprogram. I had to deprogram the clutter. I had to get rid of the rules. I had to get rid of certain concepts. I had to let it go, and I had to tap into my natural power. Understanding that everything outside of me, I can use that to help me if I choose. If I choose. And knowing that when I choose, and they see that I am already using my natural gifts, things will pop. You guys have a good day.